Hello everyone, this is Suneve, and I'm coming to you with Cozen, a Bloody Painter X-Reader by A Poisonous Lie. We're going to be starting off with Chapter 14. You're just defending a thief because you like him. Those words were so loud that they couldn't let you sleep. After your little argument with Tom, those words have been stuck into your mind. It wasn't because you liked Helen. Well, you did like him, but just as a friend. You just wanted to do the right thing, defend a friend. As you expected, Tom and Aiden didn't talk to you or even look at you when you arrived at school, though Helen was there to greet you. He looked more tired than usual, but that didn't stop him from smiling and talking to you, but it did worry you. Helen, you're not getting any sleep? You ask. He looks at you, but then looks away quickly, trying not to answer your question. You stayed quiet, trying not to ask him any more. These rumors are already troubling him, and you felt bad for it. Maybe just staying by his side was enough to calm him down, and he was more at peace when you were by his side. Hey, did you hear? Aiden tried to spread rumors about Ban framing Helen. Really? Do you think he was the one who actually stole the watch? New rumors, and annoyed you how it always between Helen or Aiden. This time was something new to hear from you, from your classmates. As you were listening to your classmates, you suddenly remember the paper Aiden passed you before you left yesterday. You quickly take it out from your pocket and open it, and you couldn't believe that you didn't read it at home. You completely forgot about it. You take a look at it, and it said, "Can we talk alone after school? You know, we're just don't let Tom or Helen see you." You fold the paper again and put it back in your pocket, and your mind started to make up questions that Aiden might talk to you about something bad to you after school. So many that you couldn't even choose which could be the actual conversation he wanted to make with you. Lunchtime was around the corner, and you didn't waste time going to the place to meet up with Aiden, so you started getting anxious for meeting him, wondering what he was going to tell you. You finally arrived, and Aiden was there, leaning against the tree he was always sitting against as he ate lunch. He seemed to notice your presence on his body to face you. A small and nervous smile showed on his face. "Hey, Ryan, how are you?" he asks. "Not so great," you respond, then you quickly ask him what he wanted to talk to you about. "So what's with the sudden note? You've been ignoring me for a while, so I thought this was the end of us." He froze a bit. He bit his lip and looked down awkwardly. "It's just, Tom is changing," he says, and this confused you. You tilted your head a bit, then he continued to talk. "I know you've noticed he has changed quite a lot ever since you started talking to Helen." His head turns to where the tree was, and confused he looked at the tree to see why he was giving glances to it. "I also decided to talk to someone else to clear everything." He moved to the side a bit to show someone that was behind the tree all this time. Annie. You recognized her as soon as you saw black curly hair reaching her shoulders, her clothing in such an elegant style, and her aura giving a sense of shyness and vulnerability that you didn't sense the day she threw the food on you. Her brown eyes looking at you in an embarrassed manner. Your face showing surprise at the sudden appearance of her, Aiden quickly stepped in front of her to talk to you. "Before you say anything, she talked to me, and everything was a misunderstanding the day she dropped her food on you," he says quickly. He tried to explain, but Annie gently moved him aside so she could look at you clearly. "Tom made a rumor that you were saying bad stuff about my friend, and I knew it was him, but he threatened me to spread rumors about me if I didn't drop the food on you or make a scene." She looked ashamed of herself as she was explaining. I'm very sorry. I never meant to do that to you, I swear." That's all she said and backed away a bit to keep distance with you. You tried to reach for her, but she backed away even more. This wasn't something you were expecting from Tom. What was the reason for him to do that? Aiden looked nervous, his eyes staring at Annie as she walked away, trying her best to not look back at you as she still felt embarrassment to what she did to you a few days ago. Aiden puts his hand on your shoulder in a comforting manner, that look of pity always there when he looked at you. "He has never done that to me, so I don't know why he's doing it to you." Shocked, you looked at Aiden dead in the eye. "He's never done that to Aiden?" He had to be kidding. He hasn't heard all the rumors about him? Everything was starting to make sense. He was the one spreading rumors about Aiden, but for what? You tried to look for Tom to have a talk with him. This wasn't the boy you knew. It was the cheerful and bashful boy you met before, only a facade, an act. Nothing was adding up. And as soon as you stepped into the classroom, you see a few students slamming books on Helen's head as he was sitting down, loud noises and laughter echoing in the hallway. And with no time to waste, you quickly run towards them and push them aside to take a look at them. "What are you guys doing?" You yell at them. "Do you really think this is funny?" The three boys stayed silent as they held their books tightly. They didn't say anything and looked annoyed before they walked away, leaving you and Helen alone. You crouched down to take a look at Helen, his face bruised, but tried not to make any eye contact with you as he felt embarrassed. You couldn't help but hug him. This surprised Helen as he quickly jolted back, but you didn't let go as he started to relax, as if he was starting to melt in your hug. He finally found some comfort, even if it's for a few minutes. Chapter 15. It seemed to have worked. The hug worked on Helen, and on the last period, Helen's mood went up and started talking to you more. It made you smile. You were happy that one single hug cheered him up so much that he didn't seem to be paying attention to the other students who were murmuring stuff. You, on the other hand, you were paying close attention that it bothered you so much. It felt like they were talking about you. Don't pay attention to them, Mayan. It's fine. Helen finally snaps you out of it and smiles. Don't worry about them and let them say whatever they want. You give him a small smile in return, and he was right. They can say whatever they want. Days passed, and more meaningless arguments made their way to you with Tom. He became more distant, and he would drag Aiden away from you. Every time there was something to fight about, he would bring Aiden into it and force him to be on his side, and though at some point Aiden didn't seem to mind, and he got to a point where he would side with Tom without him saying anything. You started to get tired of it, but you kept Helen out of it, of course. He had enough of his classmates harassing him. Though nothing seemed to change, everything was the same, just getting worse. All the shoving Helen got from Ben turned into more aggressive ones, stomping and even throwing sharp pencils in his way. And still, they treated you like you never existed. And Helen cared about that a lot. He'd rather have his classmates' eyes on him than on you. He didn't want you to get hurt because of him. He started to care a lot more than he did before, especially on this day. Today felt like everything was finally at peace. For some reason, all the students stayed quiet. They didn't get near Helen or anything, but at the same time, Maggie and the others ignored you for the whole day. But to Helen, it seemed like he didn't mind at all. He smiled at you when he saw you, like he knew that you also noticed this new kind of environment. As if saying, let's take advantage of this since we're going to go back to the old routine. You just smiled back, and you look in front of you only to get startled by Ban's eyes staring right at you. Not at Helen, but you. And that sent shivers down your spine. He had something in mind, and you could tell by the way he had his eyes locked on you. The staring you had with him only lasted seconds, but it felt as if it was hours. He finally looked away, and when he did, you quickly relaxed and slumped on the desk in front of you. That was scary. Though as soon as your head was on the desk, you hear steps coming towards you. You quickly lift your head, only to see Ben right in front of Helen's desk. Your eyes widened at how quickly he was there. And before Helen could say anything, Ben snatches the book from Helen's hand and takes a look at it as he scanned each paper. He lets out an amused laugh, and a smirk crosses his face. Why are you always doing these meaningless things? He asks. Helen once again tried to reach for his book, but he pauses as he noticed one paper falling on the floor, then another. Falling like leaves, Ben started to rip each of them apart, causing the whole class to cease since the sound was so loud. Helen didn't waste time and quickly punched Ben in the face, taking out the smirk on his face. Ben quickly dropped the book, and his hand made its way to touch his cheek, and it took him a bit to process what just happened when anger finally hit him. He quickly tackled Helen off his seat, and as he started to punch him, the students quickly got up from their seats and started to surround the boys who were fighting, and you wasted no time to get up from your seat and try to separate them, but it was useless. Ben was stronger than you and Helen combined, and it seemed like he was about to choke the life out of Helen from the way he was grabbing him. Even some students tried to pull you away, trying to push you aside so the fight could go on. You started to get frustrated at the fact that you couldn't do anything, but you quickly grabbed one of the textbooks you found on your teacher's desk and slammed it on Ben's head. There was silence at the moment, but his eyes finally turned to you. Anger filled them. His attention turned to you as he lets go of Helen's bruised neck. He slowly gets up, and his figure towers over you, looking at you like he was going to do the same thing he did with Helen. You kept the textbook in front of you to shield you a bit from him, though Ben didn't say anything. He just looked at you. Then some clicking sounds could be heard from the hallway, making the students go back to their seats, even Ben. You quickly look at Helen, who was still on the floor, and you quickly go to him and check if he didn't pass out. Helen? You called out his name softly. He quickly got up like nothing happened and wiped the blood from his nose with his sleeve. You were shocked at how sudden he got up like nothing happened. Helen, let's go to the infirmary. That's all you said, but Helen shakes his head in a way to say no. He didn't even look at you and just went back to his seat and lays his head down in case the teacher arrives and wouldn't make a commotion about it. You slowly went back to your seat, and your eyes kept on Helen. Why is he refusing your help? Hello, everybody. This is the end of that. The chapter after this one is chapter 16. Let me know how you guys feel about that, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.